All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Ha-Rakakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abababal. This is evidence that the so-called white men, the red devil, Esau, Edom, are in power. It says homeless sweeps, camping bans are a health risk to the unhoused, study finds. Alright, which 9 News is a local news. It says homeless sweeps, camping bans are a health risk to the unhoused, study finds. The CU study shows involuntary displacement policies like homeless sweeps and camping bans contribute to more deaths in the unhoused community. Look how many it says. A new study shows involuntary displacement policies like homeless sweeps and camping bans could contribute to 15 to 25% of deaths of the unhoused population over 10 years. Alright? And 0.25%, that's a low number. You know, they actually like to make things sound better than they are. But that shows you the red devil, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, is in power. It says in Proverbs 29, verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And who's ruling? The wicked. Job 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Which who has committed iconoclasm? Alright, so this is an image of Moses. Alright. It says Moses. And as you can see, he looks like a so-called black man. Alright. Even the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, alright, is described as a so-called black man, not a so-called white man. So it says iconoclasm is the social belief in the importance of the destruction of icons and other images are monuments. That's why they're coming against us. That's why it says it was given to the wicked to make war with the saints, because we're a monument. Alright? It says in verse 7, Revelation 13:7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints. And how's he going to make war? Verse 16 and 17, where he makes the MOTB, the implantable microchip, mandatory for buying and selling. Alright? Which I believe I got pulled up right here. See? They're going to make this mandatory. And that's going to make war with the saints, because it's going to stop us from being able to buy or sell. It says in verse 7 of Revelation 13, and it was given unto him, the so-called white man, starting with his elite, to make war with the saints and to overcome them, which he's going to be able to kill some, but not all. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, which it tells you that when he does this, alright, wrath is going to come upon him. In Revelation 11, verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Okay, so we're standing upon our feet, starting with Abba Bivens. Alright, now we're standing upon our feet, and we're prophesying of the return of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And we're also sighing and crying for the wicked things that are done in the midst of Israel. It says, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, which the devil, the so-called white man, he destroys our people through the lack of knowledge. So he don't like seeing us standing upon our feet telling the people what it is, especially our people, the Israelites. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, which there's going to be a real voice coming from heaven out of a chariot, which we're going to be gathered unto Yahweh Shai. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. The cloud is the so-called UFO. And their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. So everyone will die in America, from the west coast to the east coast, from Canada to Mexico. Alright? Pretty much America, the United States. Alright? It's going to be destroyed by 200 million nuclear missiles. After they make that device, the MOTB, the implantable microchip, mandatory for buying and selling. Well, nuclear destruction, and the elect will be saved in a twinkling of an eye. Before this, the righteous will be scarcely saved. So, there ain't going to be no mercy shown to the wicked and them that do wickedly, including 2/3 of the nation of Israel that are in America. They're going to be left here to die in that lake of fire, because they're going to take that device. And even if they don't have it, they would if they could in their mind. It says in verse 13, and the same hour was there a great earthquake from the nuclear destruction of America, and the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. So everyone in America will die. And the remnant were affrighted, alright, the ones that were taken up into the so-called UFO, and gave glory to the power of heaven. The second woe is past, so the second world war is past, and behold, the third one cometh quickly. The third woe is the nuclear destruction of America. Cometh quickly, alright? Because this devil, he's going to fall like lightning. The so-called white man, he's going to go into slavery in the blink of an eye. It says in Isaiah 14, verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations. Alright, so the so-called white man dealing with his elite, alright, of the race. He is Lucifer, which means light bearer. They call themselves the Illuminati. Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee. So right now, this devil, he's still looking, people are still looking at him as a god or as a savior or as a form of perfection. But when we have him in slavery, alright, they're going to look at him narrowly like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? It's going to look like a monster, like a caveman, and they're going to look narrowly upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And one of the brothers, they did, I believe it was the elder brother out there in Vegas. But the brother said call him a brother, but the elder, Apostle Tar, the elder did call him an elder. But the brother out there in Vegas, the elder brother in Vegas, he did a video. I believe it was him. It may have been a different brother, but I know it was a higher up brother, an elder brother. Bringing down some knowledge for the younger brothers. And one of the things were in the past. Esau, when he was in the woods, it speaks about it in Job 30, that they were like cavemen, all right, hairy cavemen that would steal food or eat the roots of the juniper bushes. They would sleep under the trees, and they were like wild dogs. They couldn't talk, all right. Well, there was a story of them coming into contact with these cave beasts before they were able to speak. And they said that the female, when she was walking the path, she saw something moving around in the bush, and she looked, and it was a hairy Edomite. But they had a different name. I can't remember the name they went by. But it was pretty much like seeing a Bigfoot in the woods, a hairy Edomite. And what happened was he was real scared and trying to get away. As they were like retarded. They were like retarded people that grew hair, all right, and lived like animals. What happened to Nebuchadnezzar happened to Edom, all right. They became like animals, and that's what's gonna happen. All right, we're gonna put them in the caves, and they're gonna be sleeping outside on the ground like animals. All right, they're not gonna be allowed to have any pleasure, any mercy. All right, they're gonna just get brutality because of what they've done to Israel. Obadiah, verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that everyone of the mount of Esau, so everyone that is associated to Esau, may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right? You shall be cut off forever. It says in verse 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And when you go into this word possess, it means to have, the right to choose what is destroyed and what is kept. Their possessions. Who's our possession? The heathen. The heathen are our possession. All right. It says in Psalms 2. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing, like them being able to take us into a new form of slavery? That's a vain thing. All right. It says, the kings of the earth set themselves against the rulers, take counsel. It says, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder. Psalms 83. They are confederate against thee, and cast away their cords from us. So they want to sever our ties to Yahushai and then kill us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision, because they can't do nothing against us. Even if we die, we're sacrificed, we go right back to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And if we live, guess what? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is going to return. Then shall he speak unto them in his sore wrath. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vexed them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. Yahweh has said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them, talking about the other nations, with a rod of iron and brutal slavery. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, which the Son is Yahushai. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father, which sent Yahushai to ransom for Israel, lest he be angry. So you got to honor the Son, Yahushai, as the Messiah of Israel, all right, lest he be angry and he perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him, which Yahushua is coming to judge the world. Revelation 19:11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, a so-called UFO, and he that sat upon him, a so-called black man named Yahushua, but he's not going to meet you as a man, he's going to be a God, was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. So anything living contrary to what is right is going to be destroyed when Yahushua returns. It tells you that everything that is seen under him is going to perish. 2 Ezra 13, it says in verse 3, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth falleth when it filleth the fire.